The youngest team in the NBA at an average age of 22.7 is currently 7th in the West at 36 and 36 and could possibly solidify a playoff spot. I'm talking about the Oklahoma City Thunder. And if they do make the playoffs, they will be the youngest team ever to make the NBA playoffs, which right now the record is held by themselves. The Oklahoma City Thunder back in the 2010-2011 year at an average age of 23.9 years old. So they have about 10 games left in the regular season going into the playoffs, and with how close the play-in situation is in the West, they could end up moving up and being solidified in the 6th or 5th spot in the playoffs, or they could even be bounced and not make the play-in at all. But with how they've been playing, they've been one of the hotter teams in the league, going 8-2 in their last 10. So things are looking pretty good in Oklahoma City. When we backtrack and look at what our expectation was for this Oklahoma City team going into the season, they were expected to be a lottery team. But before Chet Holmgren got injured, I was even thinking that they could probably make the playoffs, make the play-in, and be competitive. But then when he went down with that foot injury, all of that went out the window, because I was like, this is pretty much the same team. You just had SGA. Josh Giddey's going to keep getting better. And then, I mean, Jalen Williams, we didn't know how good he was going to be like he is right now. And they got some other young players, and they're the youngest team in the league. You know, what's really supposed to be the expectation for that? If anything, we were expecting to see maybe SGA not be happy there, because he's having great years. He's really emerging as one of the top players in the league, and we were expecting them to keep losing. So if anything, SGA was just wasting his time there. But that's not the case, because the Oklahoma City Thunder, you know, they have a different narrative now as the season has been coming to a close. No, it's crazy to think, because this is really the youngest team in the NBA. And usually when we talk about young teams, kind of like right now, the Rockets, Spurs, Pistons, those young rookies, sophomores, just young players in general, they're really just trying to prove that they belong. You know, they're trying to get their buckets. They're kind of just going out there and just playing the game. And a lot of times it will be bad basketball with these young teams. But with the Thunder, no, they're different, because they found their identity. It looks like they have a culture in place. You know, all the players know that SGA is that dude. He's their leader. You know, he's their best player. And they also have some great complementary / secondary scorers and playmakers in Josh Giddey, Jalen Williams, talking about J-Dub. You know, you hear the commentators saying, oh, that's J-Dub, and then that's J-Will. Yeah, if you watch OKC games, you heard it all. But yeah, Jalen Williams, and then you also got Dort. And those four in general, that I guess we can call it a big four: SGA, Josh Giddey, Jalen Williams, and Dort. They look like they kind of arrived. I mean, a couple games ago on March 14th, their big four put up a big performance against the Brooklyn Nets. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander had 35 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal. Josh Giddey had 15 points, 13 rebounds, 10 assists, 2 steals. J-Dub had 23 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. And Dort had 24 points, 9 rebounds, and 6 made threes. And when we look how they ranked through the season, they're 14th in offense, which is middle of the pack, but they really found their identity as a top 10 defense in the NBA. I mean, the other night when it was the Clippers against OKC, we saw Kawhi Leonard, one of the greatest of all time, go into the torture chamber. In a full 20-second possession, Dort literally was sitting down, going through screens, and stopped one of the greatest scorers in the league from getting a shot up. I mean, Dort is really a menace. You know, he should be playing with some black Air Forces on, if we're being honest. But yeah, let's go about this big four that looks like they've arrived. SGA, I mean, if you've been keeping up with OKC, I talked about him a minute ago when the season started. You know, we all know how great he is. You know, he was an all-star. But not only is he an all-star this season, but he's looking like he will make an all-NBA team. And I was watching the Warriors and the Mavericks today. They were talking about the Thunder and how they can make the playoffs. And Jeff Van Gundy was talking about SGA. He was saying that he should rightfully deserve some MVP votes. That's how good he's been this year. I don't think he's MVP, but he's been playing like one of the best players in the league. Top 10, top 15, arguably. Since All-Star break, he's been leading the league in scoring at 35.6 points per game. And when you look at that ranking of top 5 during that time span, he's been attempting the least threes at only 1.6 threes per game. That's not really his game. He's figured it out. He's figured out what his spots are, and he's getting his points in the mid-range paint, and he's been really good at the free throw line and getting there. And now let's talk about Jalen Williams, J-Dub, the dude from Santa Clara. He's been a great rookie throughout the whole year, but as of late in this latter half of the year, he's been making an argument for the Rookie of the Year award. Paolo Banchero has been the front runner. He's been the favorite basically since the first game of the season. But when you look at it, when you compare the two, yes, Paolo Banchero has better counting stats, averaging more points, rebounds, and assists. But in terms of advanced stats such as true shooting percentage and win shares, Jalen Williams has been better than Paolo Banchero. He probably won't win Rookie of the Year, but he will for sure be a first-team All-Rookie. And when we look at his stats throughout the year, it's not mind-blowing. He's only averaging 13.6 points, 4.5 rebounds, 3.2 assists, but he's been shooting it really efficiently at 52% from the field, 35 from 3, and 79 from the free throw line. But what he does the things that show up on the stat sheet, and he does the things that don't. He does all the little things. And since All-Star break, his numbers have been looking a lot better. Like I said, he's been making his case for Rookie of the Year in the latter half. He's averaging 19.2 points, 6.2 rebounds, 4.6 assists on amazing efficiency, 55% from the field, 43.6% from 3, and 84.5% from the free throw line. With Jalen Williams, he has a very good feel for the game. He's a great cutter. He finds open space. He's not just standing still. Mainly when it comes to his scoring, he's been very good at the rim and in the short mid-range area. When it comes to long mid-range or the three, he hasn't shown that much volume, but he has shown the ability to shoot from three-point land, and he has shown glimpses of his shot creation. So there's a lot of potential there. And he's also a good defender. I saw this crazy stat on Twitter just to highlight how efficient and how good of a scorer Jalen Williams has been. The highest true shooting percentage over a 14-game span with a minimum of 20 points per game by a rookie was Shaq at 66.6% true shooting. Jalen Williams broke that record, reaching 67.2% true shooting on 20.2 points per game. Jalen Williams has been really great for his team, and he has all-star potential just oozing out of him. It's been fun watching Jalen Williams. And then when we talk about Josh Giddey going into his sophomore year, he's been looking like one of the best in his class. Obviously he has the great floor vision. He has a great feel for the game and impacts the game in multiple ways. He's mostly known for his amazing passes and stuffing the stat sheet, getting triple doubles, but he's been able to show and become more of a scoring threat this year by finding ways to get to the rim, and he has shown some improvement with his shooting, but obviously there's still a lot of room to grow for him to become consistent, because yes, he's been shooting it at like a 32% clip. If he can reach 35% on solid volume, that's going to really complement Shai Gilgeous-Alexander well, because this backcourt of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Josh Giddey can be very scary for the years to come. But besides that, he's been averaging 16.1 points, 7.8 rebounds, 6.1 assists. So, Josh Giddey, he's been looking really good. Then Lu Dort, I showed that earlier where he locked up Kawhi Leonard. But yeah, he's been one of the best perimeter defenders in the NBA, and he also, on the same time, gives his team a scoring punch. He hasn't been shooting efficiently, but he's still a threat nonetheless. And then Isaiah Joe, I've been liking what he's been doing this year. It's kind of like revitalizing career. That might be the wrong word. Because he's still fairly young. I'm pretty sure he's like either 24 or younger. But, he's been showing to be one of the best shooters in the league, shooting it at a 43% clip. And not only is he just a shooter, but he showed that he has a bag and he has some shot creation with him. Jay Will, the other Jalen Williams, I was kind of surprised from him. I think he was a second-round pick. And yes, the stats are mind-blowing, only averaging 5.9 points. But he's getting it done on the boards, showing some good defense, and he's been shooting it well. Every time I watch OKC, he's getting his shots up, and the shots are going in from three-point land. So he's kind of been like a stretch big for them, shooting it at 43% from three-point land. Yeah, with this OKC team, especially when you talk about them, the narrative with them is always going to be the draft picks, and then they're on this like journey of rebuilding. But you know, they're the 7th seed in the Western Conference, and looks like they can make the playoffs this year. You know, with how that's even without Chet Holmgren. You know, so right now I wouldn't even worry about their future draft pick this summer. You know, Chet Holmgren is going to be your rookie next year, and he's going to make this team a lot better too. He's going to give you that stretch 5, stretch 4 ability and play some good defense. I mean, the 2K simulations that I be doing, Chet Holmgren wins Defensive Player of the Year. So that's just scary. But this team looks really good already. Like I said, they're the youngest team in the league, and they still have so many assets. You know, they can make a move for a star. So it's going to be exciting to see how this Thunder team, you know, ends this year. You know, if they make the playoffs, whoever they face, you know, they're going to be some trouble, because Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, like I said, you know, he's going to make all NBA. You know, maybe he should get some MVP votes. And then you got Dort, who's, you know, he should make an all NBA defensive team. So they're going to be some trouble for some team in the playoffs. But yeah, I've been liking what the OKC Thunder have been doing this year. Shout out to Mark Dagno. Is that how you say his name? You know, I think that's how you say it. But he's, you know, like I said, with young teams, it's about building a culture, finding their identity, and buying in. And that's what they've been doing with their head coach. So shout out to them. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys in this video. If you guys enjoyed, please hit that like, subscribe, comment what you guys think about the Oklahoma City Thunder. Do you guys think they're going to stay consistent and make it into the playoffs? Are they going to get bounced? What are your expectations for this young core going into the future? Let me know down below. But like I always say in my videos, my first name's Emilio, my middle name's Lawrence, and I like hoops. If you like hoops too, subscribe to it too. Until next time, peace.